firearms assault weapons.
Thank you, sir. Hello. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, SB 880 closes the bullet button loophole in California's assault weapons ban by redefining assault weapons to include military-style semi-automatic firearms that do not have a fixed ammunition magazine, requires such weapons to be registered with the Department of Justice, and prohibits the future sale, purchase, or possession of such weapons in California. For years, gun owners have been able to circumvent California's assault weapons laws by using a small tool to quickly eject and reload ammunition magazines. Bullet button equipped weapons are functionally the same as illegal assault weapons, but are not included in the prohibition because a tool is required to release the ammunition magazine, and it cannot technically be released by hand. Members, military-style assault weapons have no legitimate civilian use in our nation. And let me repeat, military-style assault weapons have no legitimate civilian use in our nation. They are designed only to facilitate the maximum destruction of human life. Such weapons have been used in a number of recent gun attacks, including the recent terrorist attack in Orlando that killed 49 people and injured 52, and the San Bernardino terrorist attack that left 14 Californians dead and 21 Californians injured. Members, too many of our sons and daughters, too many of our brothers and sisters, and too many of our mothers and fathers have fallen victim to gun violence in California. There's no time to delay, and quite honestly, the time to act is now. I respectfully ask for your aye votes, and I have witnesses here to testify in favor and in support of the legislation.
Thank you. 2 minutes apiece.
Amanda Wilcox on behalf of the 27 California chapters of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. We are in strong support of this bill, just as we were in support of the 1999 assault weapons law. The current loophole that is being, or definition, I guess you'd say, that's being exploited, by which a person can use a tool to quickly exchange magazines, we feel strongly violates the intent of the original law. And that intent is that if a gun has military features, such as a pistol grip and others, that allow for the gun to, the gunman to maintain control and aim, and to pair that with the ability to rapidly reload, then again, many more people can be killed in a very short period of time. So this, I know this bill or similar bills have been before you in committee, and basically it changes the definition or recasts the bill by defining what a fixed magazine is, and you can't use a tool. The other part of this bill that we strongly support is that a person who acquired a bullet button, quote unquote, assault weapon between 2001 and 2000, whatever the date, actually be 2014, because now we have long gun records, that they would be required to register those guns. And as I've said before, the Brady campaign likes records of who has guns, because if that person becomes prohibited, they would fall into the Armed and Prohibited Person System program and can be disarmed. And that's particularly important when the prohibited person has a gun, a bullet button type gun that, again, is so lethal, can kill many people very quickly. So we urge your support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Sorry about that.
Good morning, Juliet Leftwich, Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence. My organization has a particular interest in this legislation as well, since, as I noted a few minutes ago, we were formed in the wake of the 101 California Street assault weapon massacre, which left 8 dead and 6 wounded. California adopted the nation's first assault weapons ban in 1989 following the Cleveland schoolyard massacre in Stockton. But gun manufacturers have repeatedly sought to undermine the law, most recently by exploiting the bullet button loophole. These California-compliant assault weapons have flooded into California, and they threaten public safety, as illustrated by the fact that they were used in the San Bernardino mass shooting last December. This bill is a straightforward, common-sense approach to closing the bullet button loophole, and we urge you to vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other witnesses in support? Name and organization.
Sylvia Solis-Shaw on behalf of City of Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, and on behalf of Los Angeles City Attorney Mike Fuhrer in strong support.
Thank you.
Michael Arnold on behalf of the Mayor and City Council in the City of Long Beach in support.
Thank you, sir.
Carol Kosovar on behalf of the California State PTA in support.
Thank you.
Matt Gluck on behalf of Attorney General Kamala Harris in support.
Thank you.
Mark Carlson, Lutheran Office of Public Policy, Cleveland School, next to one of our churches.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any witnesses in opposition?
Mr. Chairman and members, Sam Paredes representing Gun Owners of California and speaking on behalf of the Firearms Policy Coalition today. A couple of things need to be mentioned that have been testified before this committee. We strongly disagree with the assertion that SB 880 clarifies the definition of assault weapon and gives the Department of Justice the authority to bring existing regulations into conformity with the original intent of the California assault weapons ban. Chairman and members, the regulations and the law that called for or allowed for the creation of the bullet button device were done in cooperation with Attorney General Jerry Brown. He was the Attorney General at the time and actually wrote the regulations. So please don't say that the manufacturers are doing anything to subvert the law. These regulations were written by the California Attorney General. It is not some sort of a subversion. The AR-15 rifle stands for Armalite rifle. This rifle was invented by some folks in Southern California primarily as a civilian use rifle, and then military people saw that it had some practical use for them. Right now, AR-15s, you can go to any gun store and find them in camouflage colors and different configurations for use in multiple hunting disciplines. Lots of them. As a matter of fact, I would venture to guess that it is the single most popular gun being used for hunting of all types of hunting in California. In competition, look at any channel that has sporting competition that they show. Every one of them shows the vast popularity of the modern sporting rifle that includes all of these that are being used in competition, international competition, state competitions, local competitions, Olympic competitions, all kinds of competitions. So please don't say that these are not used for competitive shooting. That is just not truthful. So for these and many other reasons, we are in strong opposition.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, for the record, again, Dan Reed with the National Rifle Association, also representing California Rifle and Pistol Association. I'm echoing the comments that Mr. Paredes said before me. This legislation is going to ban hundreds of thousands of constitutionally protected firearms that have all sorts of lawful purposes: hunting, self-defense, sporting, recreation. These changes are going to happen quickly with this change in definition, and again, we don't have public notice to going out to gun owners that could possibly turn people into criminals overnight. With that, we oppose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Mark Henley with the California Waterfowl Association. As was touched upon, this bill would effectively ban a class of semi-automatic firearms that are currently used by the public to hunt big game species in particular, including wild pigs and deer. We believe hunters are not part of the gun violence problem. We actually have a very good safety record. For those reasons, we urge your opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any others in opposition? Name and organization.
Sergeant Shalisa Williams, San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, in opposition.
Thank you.
Bill Gaines on behalf of the California Deer Association, the Wild Sheep Foundation, California Houndsmen for Conservation, and the National Wild Turkey Federation. This bill would ban very many common semi-automatic hunting rifles, and for that reason we are strongly opposed.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from committee members? Mr. Lowe.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I had a question for the representative from the NR specifically to this bill on a policy matter.
Yes. Mr. Lowe has a question for the members of the opposing opposition.
Thank you for the opportunity. My question was, I understood from the opposition that you had indicated that your interpretation of this was a ban, a flat out of competitions. Is that accurate?
That is true.
So do you believe that specifically to this bill that with this ban that a competition is perhaps not an articulate way to ban saving lives, perhaps of like Akira Murray, who's 18 years old, who died in Orlando?
Member Lowe, your question is I think, very misleading, and I will not answer it the way you asked it, but I will say this. Competition is something that has been brought up by this author and other authors who have dealt with. We have responded specifically to the issue that competition is an essential use of these firearms. With regards to the number of lives that are affected by this, what is not considered is how many lives are saved because hundreds of thousands of law-abiding citizens use these guns to defend themselves. That doesn't make the news because nobody died. They used them to protect themselves. It only makes the news when somebody slips out and commits an act of terror or criminality. That's when it makes the news. But you folks won't consider the hundreds of thousands of times in California that law-abiding citizens use these guns and others to successfully defend themselves. And so we err on the side of we don't want any more victims. And if you take these guns away or you ban them or you control them or anything, you're going to create more victims because they are not going to have the opportunity to defend themselves. And I'm talking about the law-abiding. And we feel very passionately about that.
Sure.
I believe he's answered it. So do you have another question?
On my own time.
Okay. On your own time. Mr. Lowe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. To Senator Hall, more specifically, many individuals pray for change, and that is equally appropriate, but you are legislating for change. And so I thank you for your heroism and your dynamism for ensuring that we as the state of California continue to focus on the issues that are important for the public safety in this arena. We are sitting in the Assembly Public Safety Committee, and that is what we are attempting to do. And that's why the bills and the legislative process allows us to focus in that of public safety, not public carnage. And it's imperative that we continue to do that, and I respectfully ask for all individuals to vote for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lackey, you have a question or comment?
Just a comment. You know, I very much respect the fact that we're all sharing a great deal of frustrated emotion because of acts that have taken recently, violence. And I think that sometimes our reaction emotionally has a tendency to blur our vision as to the remedies of how we prevent or how we address and how we move forward. And I just really am frustrated over the fact that I believe very deeply that we have a displaced focus when we focus on the instrumentality that these people, these really wicked people, are doing very hurtful circumstances, and we take the blame, we dehumanize it on the instrument. And it frustrates me. I mean, I hear the term, we're focused on the instrument, and we're demonizing the fact that a military-style weapon, the military uses handguns. Where does this stop, this military-style reference? The term gun violence just bothers me because guns aren't the source of the violence. It's bad people are the source of violence. And we don't seem to, because we feel like that's more difficult to control, we move on to the next thing and we focus on the instrumentality when, quite frankly, it's not going to help our problem. I just am very frustrated by the good discussions that we're having here, but I really think it misses the boat that there is a very legitimate use of these weapons that we are totally dismissing, thinking that we're going to change the behavior of these bad people. And I just don't see it. I see it punishing the people who are trying to be law-abiding, that have interests that may be different than those of us who are sitting up here. They compete with these weapons, and it's a very non-threatening circumstance. I just feel frustrated. And I want to say that I do respect the fact that we share different views on this, and I'm not trying to be dismissive of the fact that I really genuinely believe you're trying to help the problem. But I have to ask that you at least see the other side, that those of us who share a different perspective, we are deeply committed to public safety, and we totally believe that this misses the mark.
Mr. Quirk.
I think all of us up here, and particularly the member from Palmdale, okay, is committed to public safety. But I think sometimes we, and this can happen to me too, get blinded by positions as opposed to looking at the data. 2/3 of gun deaths are suicide. More than 1/3 of all the mass shootings that occur in the U.S. where there is no effective gun control. And frankly, I'm fighting for all these gun control bills, but I also agree with the opponents in some sense who say, well, all they have to do is go to Nevada or Arizona. Well, if that's all I can do, at least I'll make them spend some money on gas. But I'll tell you, it does make a difference that we allow these weapons. We would not have the kind of carnage we have, and nowhere in Europe, nowhere in Australia do they have these sort of things where you've got very similar social conditions, and the answer is they control guns. And if we would control guns, then yes, perhaps there would be an occasional person who managed to get a gun and do this, but there wouldn't be, as there were in the first half of this year, 133 mass shootings where 5 people or more were killed. California can't do this alone, but we can at least start. Thank you.
Thank you. No more comments? Okay, Mr. Hall.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to bring this bill forward. I'm just as frustrated as expressed by our dear friend from Palmdale over the dialogue that we have to have when we're seeing so many people in our communities and on our streets dying senselessly. And then to have people come up on this dais and defend the senseless acts of terror that's happening domestically. Their dirty, filthy mouths that needs to be washed with soap, saying that this would not impact or save lives. I'd like to ask the question if the parents of those who lost their loved ones this weekend would feel the same. And the parents who lost their loved ones in San Bernardino would echo the same sentiments of these heartless people that care not about individuals or keeping people safe on our streets, but care mostly about holding a weapon in their hand. We have a responsibility as elected officials in the state of California to make sure we're preparing, or we're protecting rather, the people of our state. And as our dear friend from Orange County said, if other states are not doing it, then California should be, must be, and shall be the example to help make right our community and our land and our state. These are vicious people that are sitting here protecting these vicious murderers that are terrorizing our streets and making it very difficult for us to feel safe even at home. We have that responsibility, Mr. Chair, and members of this prestigious committee. And let me just say that I am not ashamed to stand up for those that have been victimized unnecessarily. I'm not ashamed to stand up for those parents who will never be able to say I love you to their children. I'm not ashamed to stand up and fight for those young boys and girls who have lost their lives because of vicious people. And I'm not ashamed to stand up and tell these crazy, vicious, heartless individuals that come to this dais and say that this won't impact. I'm not ashamed to stand up and say they need to wash their mouths because they are filthy and their attitudes demonstrate filth when they come to this committee and say that these bills would not save a life. And so I want to thank all of you in support of this legislation, and I want to thank our advocates in support of this legislation. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Move the bill.
Thank you, Senator Hall, again for bringing a pro-responsible gun ownership legislation to this committee. As the Assemblyman from the North has said, this is the Public Safety Committee. This is what we are tasked to do, to look at the public safety of everyone. I would like to just give an opportunity to the opposing side who have talked about mental health, suicides, and other things as to getting to the person, that they bring legislation forth. I've been here 3.5 years, have not gotten one bill in relation to what they're talking about. It is frustrating when you agree, and we all here agree, that the individuals that perpetrate these crimes are sick individuals, and we need to ensure that they do not get their hands on any weapons of war, of mass destruction, or whatever you want to call it. They should not have the ability to get their hands on. I think we're in full agreement with that. And so this committee going forward and next year, we're waiting here to see if any legislation comes from the other side. I will tell you we will bring some legislation forth, and hopefully they join with us. And so I am recommending, because again, this is proactive legislation that helps and protects the community, and I'm recommending an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
SB 880, the motion is due pass to appropriations. Jones Sawyer?
Aye.
Jones Sawyer, aye. Melendez? Lackey? No. Lackey, no. Lopez? Aye. Lopez, aye. Lowe? Aye. Lowe, aye. Quirk? Aye. Quirk, aye. Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. That measure passes.
Measure passes.
Thank you, Mr.
Congratulations.
Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members. Thank you.
And if you see your colleague, Senator Lara, outside, could you?
I will bring him in.
Senator Lara, thank you for being patient.
Thank you.
Your last bill, SB 1242, item number 14.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I'd like to begin by accepting the suggested amendments as author amendments, and
thank you, sir.
Thank the staff for their work on my bill. Members, SB 1242 will ensure that all misdemeanor crimes retroactively have a maximum possible sentence of 364 days. 2 years ago, my bill, SB 1310, aligned the definition of a misdemeanor between state and federal law. Federal law defines a misdemeanor as a crime punishable by up to 364 days, and anything longer is considered a felony. Previously, California defined a misdemeanor as a crime punishable by up to 365 days. The federal government did not recognize California's definition. Due to this minor and technical difference, thousands of legal residents who committed low-level and nonviolent crimes were deported. This bill seeks to align and ensure that we retroactively address this issue and ensuring that all the misdemeanors are retroactively and are punishable for no more than 364 days. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Mr. Chair, members, Dan Filizato on behalf of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. We are pleased to sponsor this legislation. Senator Lar is correct. SB 1310 solved the immigration issue prospectively. It didn't do anything to address the issue to individuals who were convicted prior to January 1 of 2015. What has happened is individuals come to court who have had their convictions prior to the effective date of 1310 and ask the court to resentence them. Because there is no guidance in the law today, we have courts resentencing individuals a tremendous different number of ways. SB 1242 will sit there and ensure that individuals are all treated fairly. Immigration consequences is one of the most serious consequences of a plea. Prior to the last 5-10 years, immigration consequences weren't always considered when pleas were entered. That puts those individuals at a tremendous risk of removal for acts that honestly don't warrant removal. This bill will address that problem. We respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you.
John Lovell on behalf of the Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs, the California Association of Code Enforcement Officers, California College and University Police Chiefs Association, Association of Deputy District Attorneys, the California Narcotic Officers Association, LA County Professional Peace Officers Association, LA Police Protective League, and the Riverside Sheriffs Association in support of this good sense bill.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support?
I'm Kathy Brady. I'm a senior staff attorney at the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. We're a nonprofit resource center based in San Francisco. We provide advice to nonprofit groups as well as public defenders and sometimes prosecutors and judges. We support this bill. This bill could be called What a Difference a Day Makes. It makes an enormous difference to stop the needless deportation and needless destruction of California families for a single misdemeanor. As you know, 1 out of 4 people in our state is foreign-born. 1 out of 2 children in our state lives in a household headed by a foreign-born person. So we are devastating our communities by accident because of a glitch between federal and state law, and we hope that this will be a very low-impact measure that will make courts run faster and easier and also help California families.
Thank you.
Joseph Villela, on behalf of CHIRLA, the Coalition for Humane Migrant Rights of Los Angeles, proud co-sponsor, and we thank the author and others for working on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeanette Saripatin on behalf of MALDEF, the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, also as a proud co-sponsor and in support of the bill, and want to thank the author as well as my co-sponsors for their work on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Ortiz with the ACLU of California. We're in strong support of the bill.
Thank you.
Ignacio Hernandez on behalf of the California Attorneys for Criminal Justice, co-sponsor of the measure, and also on behalf of the Latino Coalition for Healthy California, also a co-sponsor of the measure and support of the bill.
Thank you. Are there any witnesses in opposition? Are there any questions from committee members?
Yes.
Mr. Lackey.
Yeah, I just have a concern over one particular provision that comes to mind, and that is being someone who's very sensitive to driving offenses. There is a particular provision in the vehicle code that addresses the problem of repeat offenders on DUI, where you have 3 prior DUI offenses. It's considered a wobbler, and a lot of these offenses are pled down to the misdemeanor side due to court expediency and other issues. I do consider someone who has offended 3 times in the way that they have posed a threat, identifiable threat, at least 3 times. That's what they've been caught. Those are dangerous people. And I worry that this is going to let them off the hook, and I'm not willing to do that on that provision.
If I may clarify?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you, and I understand your your concern, and just know that obviously this is the discretion of the DAs and the court. In LA's instance, that case you just described, that person would be punishable with a felony. So this would be the major sentence that person would get.
Can I ask another
Sure, you may ask
clarifying
another
question? I'm talking about people who have already been classified as misdemeanors. They would retroactively, if I understand this bill correctly, they would be considered misdemeanors, and so they would have that reduction. Is that correct or no?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Nothing in the bill allows somebody who had previously been convicted of a felony to have their sentence reduced to a misdemeanor. If an individual had a prior misdemeanor conviction for DUI, the individual would still have a misdemeanor conviction for DUI. The charge cannot be changed. It wouldn't be reduced to reckless driving or some other offense.
You're misunderstanding my question. My concern is those who have already pled to the misdemeanor side. They would see the benefit of this bill.
I don't, Mr. Chairman, I don't understand. I don't see how anybody would benefit who's previously pled, because they would still have the misdemeanor conviction on their record. They are sentenced, for somebody who's previously pled, the individuals in this case, these individuals have already served their sentence. They're out of custody. So nothing related to that specific individual will change, other than their sentence would be considered a 364-day sentence rather than 365 days. Now, specifically as to multiple DUI offenses, I could be wrong, but I believe an individual who has multiple DUI offenses would be considered a crime of moral turpitude, and irrespective of the length of sentence, is removable simply because of that fact. So they wouldn't really receive any benefit that I can see.
Actually, DUI has different kinds of consequences, but it would not be, they're not affected by the 364 versus 365.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions from committee members? Mr. Lauer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I respectfully ask for a vote.
The chair recommends an aye vote and that we move ahead.
SB 1242, the motion is do pass as amended. Jones Sawyer?
Aye.
Jones Sawyer, aye. Melendez? Lackey? Lackey not voting. Lopez? Lopez, aye. Lowe? Lowe, aye. Quirk?
Aye.
Quirk, aye. Santiago? Santiago, aye.
That measure passes.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Mr. Chair, members.
So this, she's gone. Vice Chair's gone. So now we will do any add-ons or vote changes, including items that are on call. Madam Secretary, please go through all the measures taken up today.
Item number 1, SB 420, is on call. Lowe? Lowe, aye. Santiago? Item number 1, SB 420. Aye. That measure passes. Item 2, SB 867, Lopez. Lopez, aye. Lowe? Lowe, aye. Santiago? Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item number 3, SB 869, Lowe? Lowe, aye. Santiago? Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item number 4, SB 880, Melendez? Melendez absent. Item number 5, SB 883, Roth? Lopez? Lopez, aye. Lowe? Lowe, aye. Santiago? Santiago, aye. That passes. SB 894, item number 6, Lackey? No. Lackey, no. Lowe? Lowe, aye. That measure passes. Item number 7, SB 1016, Monning. Lopez? Lopez, aye. Santiago? Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item number 8, this measure is on call. SB 1036, Lopez. Lopez, aye. Low, aye. Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item number 9, SB 1127 was on consent. Item number 10, this measure was on call. SB 1129, Low, aye. Quirk, aye. Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item 11, SB 1182, Lopez, aye. Low, aye. Santiago, aye. Item number 12, SB 1221 was on consent. Item 13, this measure is on call. SB 1235, Lopez, aye. Low, aye. Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item 14, SB 1242, Melendez, absent. Item 15, SB 1324, Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item 16 was on consent. SB 1330. Item 17, this measure is on call. SB 1407, Lopez, aye. Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item 18, SB 1446, Santiago, aye. That measure passes. Item 19, SB 1474, this measure was on consent.
With that, the Public Safety Committee is adjourned.